Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've had a lot of questions about this thing. That video I did where it was the Twitch stream where I built it and then I uploaded it to YouTube, it's got a lot of views and a lot of people want to know different things about this, the ITP Groza 12 kit for the Tokyo Marui Saiga 12 SBS. You can also get the Saiga 12K version, which has a slightly longer barrel, but other than that, seems to basically be the same. I don't see a huge amount of difference between the two of them. But this is the kit that I installed, and it's obviously very different. It's taken the body from being your Saiga 12 with the stock coming out the back here, shifting it all down, putting a trigger up here with a wire that runs internally to the old trigger box system here, and that's kind of where the actual trigger is, and basically made it a bullpup shotgun. And I think it looks phenomenal. Definitely the feedback that I've got from people is like, this thing is pretty awesome looking. I went with the green kind of kit that I thought was great as well. But I realize, and a lot of people are asking questions, is like, okay, well, it's very expensive and you're having to put it onto a shotgun that already works really well. So are you actually just messing up a good shotgun? So I thought I'd kind of like get on here, answer a couple of the questions that have come through, and then also just kind of give my first thoughts on like, do I think this thing is practical? Because I'm not sure I do. It's kind of like my prelude to that. We'll figure it out as I do my gameplay with it, but at the moment I'm not 100% convinced by this. Right, so first question I get is, can you put any actual grip on it? It's got two little, if you watch the like install video, which you can if you just click on the channel, it's got two grooves that are in here for this actual pistol grip that comes with it. It also has like a very kind of like open space inside where you actually have to sit the grip onto that kind of mount. For instance, like stuff like this, which is like a Zenitco one that would go on your typical like AK from a Tokyo Marui or the actual original 12K, it's not going to go on there. It needs to be a lot larger like footprint here, and you need to be having like these grooves which are going to sit it in. You may think, oh, well, if you don't have the grooves, it's not a big deal. I think the issues you're going to have is that this is all load bearing. Like this pistol grip here, when you're holding it, unless it's like perched in your shoulder, it basically has all of the weight of the replica on it, and it's not super heavy, but this thing's definitely heavier than it was as the regular SBS model. So you're going to need extra support. And so I think, yes, you may be able to make some actual pistol grips work, and I'm sure some people could 3D print stuff with this base in mind, which would make it work. But for me, I don't think you're going to be able to switch it out very easily. So that's one of the questions answered. Another question that I've had is on magazines. Now, obviously, well, not obviously, but if I try and remove this magazine here, I can't because that pistol grip's in the way. So this is with the 12 SBS, like 90 round mag. That's definitely not going anywhere. What you have to do here is push this button, which sometimes if you're like not fully holding the pistol, you can kind of twist it back a little bit and just release that. And I think that's going to wear in, but sometimes I'll push it and it's a little bit like rock solid. But I push that, I rotate this grip, and that means that when that grip is rotated, I can remove this magazine. I can then reload it, put another one in, and then I can re-rotate, and that doesn't always fully click back in, but then I click that back in and we're good to go. And that kind of fires. So, it works, and the reloads work with the 12 SBS. I don't think it's going to be much different other than the length here, using the SBS like 90 round mag to a regular one. Because if I release this here, and you can see it's stuck there a second. If I release this here, I remove this mag, put this one in, which is the standard SBS mag. Now, this is the other thing, is you're going to have to get some like muscle memory on this of like, where am I putting this in? Because you can't really see the mag well. It's not like you can rotate it particularly and see it and then snap that back in. Like, it's basically the same clearance here between, you know, where the actual back of the grip is and where the magazine is. So it's going to be the same whether you're running this one or this one. It's not really going to make any difference other than the length coming out the bottom. Another thing to mention is this is going to maybe get uncomfortable. Like the ridge on this thing, as you're putting your hand there, it's basically just on the inside of the ball of your hand. So that could get annoying. I think you'll get used to it, and it almost makes this thing now like part of the actual like gun when you're using it, because you're almost like hinging on it slightly. But I would just bear that in mind, is this is not going to be as comfortable probably as using a regular one. I would like to see if someone could basically print or create a more vertical grip, kind of like that Die Free style, where it would allow you to remove that mag. Because if you could take that mag out, and you may not even need that much more like gap, but if you could take that mag out without having to do the rotation, I think it just gives you another option to do that. Now, I'm not sure if this is just mine, but I'm having trouble with that locking out. Like, it's not ever locking out. It's kind of a little bit of a catch there, but it's just kind of like, it'll stay there by itself, but it's not locking fully. And I think some of the videos I've watched, they always need to slam it to get it back into place. And mine is not doing that. And I don't know if that is this case for all of them. So I'd love to know if you guys have seen, but my issue that I'm having now is when I like do the push the button. Oh, see there, it locked again a little bit. There you go. So again, it's like not smooth, and I'm hoping that wears itself in, but we'll see. It might be my build skills as well. Rotate it that way, and then I go to like pull the mag. The problem is this is just not stable. And like if that was locked, I could kind of rotate it. But the problem is if I do that, it just kind of slaps it around. So some people may not have an issue with it, but because that's not locking in for me, and I think there might be something I have to do internally to like make that lock. I know you can lock it in place like that if you want to, which I think would be very, very strange because the trigger's still in a very weird location, like right there. So you'd be reaching your finger across to do it. But I think that should be locking in there, and it's not. So I may have to go back in. Problem I did have though is I started to go back in just to look at stuff, and that screw there started to strip. Now I'm not going to mess around with it and like push it too hard, but it's definitely something where I'm like, okay, I need to be careful here, because it does seem like it's good hardware and it's very attractive hardware. Like you can see it's like very nice, almost like you've got the like trades on each of the actual little bolts. But I don't want to strip that and then be unable to get this thing apart. So I'm going to have to take that slowly and kind of work it out. But that's just something here where I'm like, oh, that's so annoying. If that locks there and then I had to really like ram it down, I may not like it even. I may like it even less, but that for me is just kind of annoying. Like I can make it work where I can do that. See what I mean? It's like there, and then slap that in and go. But it's awkward, man. It's really awkward. Okay, so the other big question I have is, and I think this is the solve for it, is does a HPA adapter with an M4 mag allow you to basically keep it and not have to move the pistol grip? Now this is actually a tap one. I've got an air tack one on my other replica, but this is a tap one. They're basically the same dimensions, so it's not really going to make any difference there. But this one, it does work with an EPM1 Mini. I haven't tried the EPM1. I have tried a Mini, and it does work. I'll show you in a second. One thing I would say, though, is if you're going to run a shotgun HPA or a Saiga HPA, it's kind of great because this is now right there. Like, it's out of the way. And so you're not having to deal with your wire coming from your line coming from the front, going around the pistol grip or anything like that. You basically just have it tucked under your arm. So if you want to run an HPA shotgun, this could be something that you don't have to mess around with that grip for, and you can just sort it. I'll show you here. So this is the EPM1 Mini. And as you can see there, the clearance is very similar. Like it's actually a kind of like similar gap here between the actual thing. But then what I can do is I can just take this here, and my finger's getting stuck there actually. So you almost have to like do that, and I can just release it straight out because it's not hinging at all. It's just a straight pull. I can just do that, pull it out, put another one in, and then carry on firing. So that is a thing. Like if you're looking to use this as a HPA shotgun, it could work really well. So it's so rear heavy. Like all of the weight is in the back of this thing. So it's almost like I'm leaning it on my shoulder or like hinging it right here on my chest nearly all of the time. If you don't, this thing is just gonna like pull on your wrist, and then your wrist is doing the work. So you almost need to be resting this thing somewhere. I do like that you've got the QD sling point here and here. So if you have a kind of like a sling, you could just run it straight over, and then you're getting rid of that kind of need to like free arm it, because it literally is right in your shoulder at any point. So you really don't need that give in the sling that you would with other replicas. I'm really excited to try it out and play with this thing and just see how it goes. But the indoor CQB field, which I'll be playing with this at first, is not going to allow HPA. So that's not necessarily going to work. But you can make it work definitely with an EPM1 Mini. EPM1, same thing. But this is going to be more awkward, I think, to like reach and reload it. And it's a little bit, I mean, it looks good either way, I think. Like any kind of M4 mag, it's not that different, and it's kind of tucked under your arm. So it's going to look good. But this does work. Build quality wise, this thing's built really well, but I would say some of the parts of it, I'm like, this is fragile. Like that wire is running like basically along here. And if that bends, if that kind of like gets affected in any way, if like the trigger pulls, like pulling on it too hard, or there's too much resistance, I'm worried that will snap. And they've given you another one. So yes, you kind of have a second shot at it if you want to, but it is a bit like, why is that like not more like thought out when you're spending like $550 on a kit? This thing I don't particularly like. Where are we with the like button press to get this thing out? Let me just work out which way we're doing this. It's pretty hard to do, and it was weird on the install where it was so tight that it was almost like you had to like readjust it to get it in and out. It clicks in and out, and it does allow you to get this dust cover off, but it's for me, it's like a little bit, you know, it's like the materials are really good. It's just some of like the angles and stuff on it just don't feel fully right. This I can move around, so I can rotate this entire top piece, and then I could basically run this rail on the top. I could drop this top piece off and just have the rail or the attachment, the rail attachment on the top here. So you can have like a high version, a low version. You can rotate this way or that way. So like there's a lot of customizability with this. You've got your M-lock here, and it's nice and out of the way. So I'll probably put a flashlight laser like right there on the side, and it does make me feel really cool. Now, the other thing with the SBS is I think with the K, you can have like a front grip, which you could put here. With the SBS, you really don't have anywhere to put your hand. And obviously I've got a suppressor on here, and it does feel like I want to kind of grab the suppressor, but obviously if we're being realistic in any way, you're not going to grab the suppressor. Like you're really not. You're going to burn your hand off. So almost I'm finding like I'm trying to like tuck my hand almost like a P90. It's kind of very similar to what a P90, it feels very P90-ish in terms of like its dimensions and just like how it feels in terms of being like quite rear heavy. I mean, I think maybe when I've got some attachments on here, it'll even out the weight a little bit, but unless you've got like a heavy barrel, it's going to be weight here and weight here. And this thing's pretty chunky, so I'm not sure. The other thing I was going to talk about is the trigger. Now the trigger, you can see here, is super mushy. Like no idea when that thing's going to go. It just goes and goes and goes and then just randomly goes. Now, I don't like a mushy trigger, but to be honest, it isn't much different to what the stock trigger is like. It is pretty fat. Like the actual trigger here is pretty chunky, like the width of it, and it's very flat faced. There's no real like curve to it. So it's kind of got these ridges. It's not like a deal killer for me. Like it's fine, you know, it's going to do its job, but it is a little bit like, maybe it could have had like a better tuned trigger to go in there, but it's basically pulling a wire that's pulling something in here. So it's not going to be super responsive ever, I don't think. And it's a mushy trigger on the 12K and the 12 SBS anyway. So yeah, that's just something as well that I'm not the biggest fan of. The other thing is this thing is now very loud, which I like a lot, but it actually could be pretty loud for your ears if you're going too hard on it with the with your green gas. Now you're not going to get this through when I kind of like do it on here. Like it does feel cool doing that, like clicking it back in place. I can show you, there we go. See there, it kind of is like a harder click to get. So I can just flick it in and it holds, flick there. And I just want it to lock there. And then if I can just do that again, I'd be super happy. But I'll try and work that out. I'm sure there's a workaround for it. But when I reload this thing, if I can get this thing out, like I'm having to like pivot this here because I need to hold this weight up, and then I'm flicking that in. I'm pushing that in, and that's not locking because my hand's getting in the way with the mag. That did lock that time. But the bolt now is literally right above your, like right below your ear. So this thing is just banging here where it was here before. And this thing, it makes a loud noise. If you found anyone or any of your friends who have a Saiga 12 from Tokyo Marui, you will know that the noise is pretty loud. So I'll give you a little demonstration right here, but this is what it's now. If I put the mag on fire on empty, might be good. There we go. Yeah, I'm having to do like a weird, like if I grab the tracer, it's fine. And I could kind of do that. I could just do like a, see that, go, boom. But yeah, it's like I'm trying to like push away whilst also keeping my wrist there. It's just super awkward. Okay, so now, like you can see here, like this is right here. And it's like an ear ringing kind of like level of noise. Now, if I go full auto, which is the advantage of doing this with the SBS, that actually just bumped that loose. So it's just super loud. I mean, it feels very cool. It feels very aggressive, but yeah, it's very loud. Trying to think anything else, guys, that I kind of had to think about on this one. I think I had propane in that because it smells awful. Let me just... yeah, sometimes the fire selector's been a bit like sticky. It's like if I've got it in the wrong location, it doesn't like to go up into safe. It's almost like I'm forcing it up in there. And again, that might be like a wear and tear thing where there's a part that's rubbing in there. But I would say like the build quality, the feel of it is amazing. It's just some of the functionality I'm not 100% sure. But that kind of runs it up, guys. I will be finding which sight I'm going to put on here. I'm going to put on my like flashlight laser combo and kind of work that out. I do want to keep it looking very cool. I'm actually 3D printing another one of these from Bastard Labs, and it's going to have it in that green color. So I'm quite excited to kind of see how that looks in regards to this. It might like be the wrong tone and look a bit weird, but you guys are going to let me know that in the chat anyway. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts of the Groza 12 by ITP kit on the SBS for now. If you have questions, like that's annoying me. Like, look, if I push in there, it's not. If I rotate slightly and then push in, it's fine. Like that's fine that time, that's fine that time. But it's almost like it's like not catching. I put it there and I'm good. I need to like put that. I think that's just going to wear in and it's going to be fine. I just need to be doing this a lot. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been 6mil Badger giving my like first thoughts and review on this. I will be doing some gameplay, and I'm also going to be doing some shorts where I'm going to be doing reloads with my 360 camera. So if you want to see me fumble those, maybe get a bit better eventually, then definitely subscribe, like, notifications. Thanks, guys. Speak soon. Bye.